everyone, I hope you're doing well. So you've obviously read the title of today's video and I have to say I am a bit nervous about filming this. I've actually got a list of notes on my phone just because I know my head's going to be in so many places and I want to at least be able to structure this kind of, and it's not just like a big fat ramble and I'm just like chucking words at you guys and it makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, I've got my notes, so if I do look down my phone, that's why. I've got a little kind of like structure going here. So today I'm going to be talking about anxiety, more so my own personal experience with anxiety and also ways and things that I do to help cope with it on a daily basis, and also when I'm outside or if I may end up in a bit more of a more difficult situation. Just before I start, I just want to throw it out there, like, I'm not copying Zoe or any other YouTuber who says that they have anxiety. As sad as it sounds, a lot more people than you realise do suffer with anxiety and panic attacks, and that's mostly because we're scared to talk about it. Like, we're scared behind this stigma behind mental health. So in doing this today, I hope that it will help some of you guys. It will help you feel more comfortable to open up to friends and family. It will help educate some of you guys, or if you do suffer from anxiety yourself, it would make me very happy if you even took one small thing away from this today. So just want to put that out there before I do start. I'm not trying to copy anyone, like, so I'd say I've had anxiety for a good 3 or 4 years now. Like, it's not my main mental health problem. Like, I suffer with a variety of issues which I'm not going to touch on. I suffer with mainly social anxiety and I do have panic attacks sometimes when I'm out. They're not as severe as they could be, but I have to say in recent months I have been getting a lot more. So I've been trying to find new ways to help cope with that and not to let it overtake my life, because the one thing with anxiety is you let it almost consume you to a point where it stops you doing normal things on an everyday basis. Like, it will stop you going out to see your friends, it will stop you trying new things, like it will just leave you in like this hole and this sort of like bubble almost, and you won't want to leave it. You don't want to try anything else, just in like total fear of what might happen, and because you've been scarred by things that have happened in the past. And I have to say, like, that's not true at all. Like, as much as anxiety is hard to deal with, there are ways to cope, and you just need to find the things that work for you. And you know, if something does happen, that's fine, then sometimes these things occurs, but it's okay, it's not the end of the world. We can move on and we can still try new things and help challenge ourselves every day, but we won't like die from it. As much as we feel at the time from a panic attack, it feels like it's the end of the world, and I know how horrible it is, but we have to realize that it's okay, it's gonna pass and you're gonna be alright, and you can continue living your daily life and you're gonna be okay. Okay, so I think first thing I'm going to talk about is things I personally use to help cope when I'm out and about, because mine is mainly social anxiety when I'm outside or having to talk to people or put in new situations. So the first thing I have here, the one thing I always do when I go out is listen to music. Like, this is my #1 thing. It just helps keep my mind focused on that. It helps block out any noises or people that may be making me feel a bit anxious, because sometimes like loud noises and people talking for some reason just puts me on edge a bit. I tend to try to listen to happy and positive music, and music that helps make me feel uplifted and gets like a kind of a good vibe going in myself and doesn't make me feel anxious really. That's like the main thing I'll always do whenever I go outside. If I do come into a situation where I do have a panic attack or an anxiety attack, or I just become incredibly anxious for some reason, these are some of the things that I'll do to try and calm myself down. Firstly, it's very important, you need to ground yourself, because obviously if you're having a panic attack or something, you kind of become engulfed in this, like, in your head, and like whatever anyone else is saying outside, it's not getting in. Like, you're just becoming more anxious about the situation when you think about it, and it just kind of explodes and overwhelms you. But you need to ground yourself, and what I try to do is I use the 5 senses. I know, say if I'm like sat in a shopping centre, I'll like try and find something to touch, or try and find a smell or listen for a sound. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, it's very important to ground yourself. Number 2, something I highly recommend you doing is just to learn some basic breathing exercises, as obviously when you're having a panic attack, your breathing is the main focus of it really, and just learning some exercises which can help bring it down, calm it down, and then that will bring your heart rate down, and hopefully everything will become less stressful then. Number 3, something I do try and do is to call a friend or a family, just because if you are out by yourself, it can panic you more because you're not really sure what to do, and you get scared of, I know I get scared of like thinking that everyone else is going to be staring at me, thinking what is she doing, why is she like crying on the floor and breaking down. But I'll always call a friend or a family member, and if possible I might get them to come and like pick me up if I'm just somewhere local, but if not, I'll just call them, and that always helps calm me down. They'll distract me away from the whole situation. So I think it's very essential to make sure like you have on your sort of shortcut dial list just to have a few close people that you know that you can always rely on. Something else I try and do is to think about happy situations or some kind of calming situation, just to hopefully help calm my brain down and stop all those thoughts going at like 100 miles per hour. Say like a holiday that I've been on, a trip, or even just something as simple as like being on a beach. Wow, this is already 8 minutes long. Gosh, I really hope I'm not rambling in this. I'm really sorry if I am. Find, as weird as it sounds and as contradicting as this is, like talking about anxiety kind of makes me anxious, I think, because I want to make sure I'm getting across every point that I can, and I want to make sure it's structured and that I'm not just making no sense whatsoever. So yeah, I'm doing my best. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about a few daily tips I have just to help kind of reduce stress levels and daily sort of anxiety, and just sort of help give a good start to your day, just so you wake up and you're not already in like a anxious, stressful mind frame. And I know one thing essential for me is to make sure I get enough sleep. Like, I cannot stress how important this is, because sleep is so important. It gives time for your mind to rest, for your body to rest, and it just sets you up for the day. I know if I don't get enough sleep, it instantly puts me in a bad mood, and that can make my anxiety worse, and one thing can lead to another, you know. So make sure you get enough sleep. I know it's hard to get off anime and YouTube at night, but trust me, you'll be thankful in the morning. Another important thing is to make sure you talk to friends and family. Like, I know how hard it can be to open up to people about this, just because there is so much stigma behind mental health, and you feel like that even your closest family or friends, they're gonna think you're crazy. But trust me, that's not the case at all. One thing to remember, if you're going to take anything away from this, is that you are not alone in this. I trust you. As much as you can feel like you're alone and like you're the only person in the whole world that's going through this, and nobody knows what you're feeling, trust me, you're not alone. There are plenty of other people who are going through the same thing as you, but together we will fight this and we will get through it. And I find that just opening up to friends and family a bit can help relieve the stress so much, and just help take a little bit of weight off my shoulders, so I don't feel like everything's being kept inside and I can't tell anyone, and like I've got this big sort of secret almost. And you know, like, they're your friends and family, they're gonna want to help you and support you through this, so don't feel like you can't talk to them. And another thing that I do like to do for myself is just to take time out for yourself, even if you've had like a very packed day, and at the end of the day, you know, you can be feeling a bit wound up and stressed, and just make sure that you take time for yourself. Say like just have a bath, do a face mask, read a book, do anything that helps relax you personally, just so you can help unwind, and so you don't go to bed with all this like anxiety in your stomach and head still, because I know that makes it really hard to sleep. So just do something to help yourself unwind, so then when you go to bed you can go to sleep easily, and then you can wake up refreshed in the morning, ready for the day. I think I touched on this at the start, but one thing with anxiety is you can't let it take over your life. You can't let it stop you from doing normal everyday day-to-day things, because that's when you know it's going too far. If it's stopping you from going to see your friends, I know, just like going to the supermarket, which I do have days where I do feel like that, and I'm like, I feel like I can't face the entire world, but it's those days that I've got to push myself and realise that I can do this, and I need to just use everything that I know, like, and just to go for it, because I know the next day or in a week's time or whenever I'll look back, I'll be proud of myself that I did push myself through it, and then I can, in the future, I can look and see that I can do it, it's okay, and yeah, just that it's not impossible, and these feelings will pass. No matter how much it feels like in the moment that they won't pass, they will pass. And one last thing I'm going to talk about today is to set aside worry time. Now you're probably like, oh, worry time? Shouldn't I be worrying less really? Well, I find a lot with anxiety, you have a lot of thoughts going around your head like constantly throughout the day, especially at night for me. Like nighttime is the worst. I hate it. Like I have so many thoughts going around my head, and it keeps me awake ages, and I can't stand it. But one thing to do is maybe set aside like 20 minutes, half an hour, and train your brain to use that time only to worry about anything that may be going on in your life, just so then hopefully for the rest of the day your brain will know, no, this isn't the time to worry. I've got to wait till like 5 p.m. or whenever you decide to do it, so hopefully then you're not constantly bombarded with like thoughts and worries and fears. So I hope that helps some of you out there. If it did, please like leave a comment down below, or if you have any other ways you help cope with anxiety or panic attacks or any other kind of mental health illness, please comment it down below, just so we can kind of like have a really helpful and healthy discussion going. And yeah, don't be afraid to talk about it, guys. It's okay, like it's alright. I know a lot of us do suffer with it, and it's good to know that you're not alone. Yeah, and I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go. I try to upload every Tuesday and Friday, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.